From yesterday's reflection, we meditated upon what is the power of a prayer of a mother. From today, we understand when the son gets converted, what miracles, what wonders he can do to the church and to the faith. Dearly beloved in Jesus Christ, welcome to today's Gospel Reflection with Father Anand. Today, 28th August 2026, the Holy Mother Church remembers St. Augustine of Hippo. Today is Friday in the 21st week of the Ordinary Time. The Gospel is taken from Gospel of Matthew, chapter 25, verses 1 to 13. At that time, Jesus told his disciples this parable. Then the kingdom of heaven will be like 10 virgins who took their lamps and went to meet bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish and 5 were wise. For when the foolish took their lamps, they took no oil with them, but wise took flasks of oil with them. As the bridegroom was delayed, they all became drowsy and slept. But at the midnight there was a cry, "Here is the bridegroom, come out to meet him." Then all those virgins rose and trimmed their lamps. The foolish said to the wise, "Give us some oil, for our lamps are going out." But the wise answered, saying, "Since there will not be enough for us and for you, you go rather to the dealers and buy for yourselves." And while they were going to buy, the bridegroom came, and those who were ready went in with him to the marriage feast, and the door was shut. Afterwards, the other virgins also came, saying, "Lord, open to us." But he answered, "Truly I say to you, I do not know you. Watch therefore, for you knew neither the day nor the hour." The Gospel of the Lord. Dearly beloved in Jesus Christ, in yesterday's reflection, we meditated what power a mother's prayer can have. That is, the power of Saint Monica to convert St. Augustine. Today let's meditate what will happen to a Christian when he comes back from his sinful life. That is, the life of St. Augustine. Well, St. Augustine was a clever boy, a naughty boy throughout his childhood. For his conversion, St. Monica prayed night and day with tears kneeling down. Her prayers were answered, and then he got converted. The precise moment when he got converted was at the time of sermon by St. Ambrose. St. Ambrose inspired him with his sermons. And one instance, when St. Augustine was walking alone through a solitude place, he heard a voice saying, "Take it and read." Augustine was startled. He looked around, but he found no one. But again the voice repeated, "Take it and read." There he noticed a Bible lying. He opened the Bible, and that was the instance where he got converted. He went back home and told his mother that his heart is longing for Christ, and he would change his life from there onwards. And he changed. Once he changed his mind, the entire life of Augustine and his faith journey became beautiful. Before his conversion, St. Augustine lived with a woman and even had a child without marriage. That was the heinous and horrible life, sinful life St. Augustine was leading. But later, once he got converted, he understood that he needs to live for God, live for the faith of the people. He started writing so many books. He preached very good sermons. He brought back so many with his rhetoric power. The intelligence, knowledge and information he had, he used for the growth of the church after he got converted. In one instance, St. Augustine was trying to understand the mystery of the Holy Trinity. He was walking on the seashore while pondering about the mystery of the Trinity so that he can logically analyze and put it in his sermons. While he was there, he noticed a small boy running between the sea and the shore with a small shell in his hand. The saint was curious. He went and asked the boy, "What were you doing?" The boy said, "I am trying to empty the entire seawater into this small hole using this small shell." The saint smiled and said, "Impossible. What you're trying to do is impossible and impractical." And then the boy reportedly said, "What you are trying to do is also impossible. You cannot comprehend the mystery and the magnanimity of the Holy Trinity in human intelligence and knowledge." St. Augustine was enlightened. With this enlightenment and knowledge, coupled with faith, he answered so many faith questions that nobody could. With this enlightenment, St. Augustine made a profound faith statement. "Lord, help me to believe so that I understand." So from then onwards, he started depending on his faith. He started depending on the church teachings rather than his intellectual capacity. So that's what power of the prayer of a mother. Mother prayed, son got converted, son worked for the church. So dear friends in Jesus Christ, from the life of St. Augustine, let's understand one important thing. If you try to understand God logically, if you try to comprehend the heavenly things with human limitations, we are not going to reach anywhere. Let's pray like St. Augustine, saying, "Lord, help me to understand so that I know what you are. Help me to believe so that I understand what you are." So dear friends, from his life, let's try to know that we are just humans. We need God's providence to understand heavenly things. Secondly, the parable of the 10 virgins, among which 5 were considered foolish and 5 were wise. Well, let me tell you, both the groups came well decorated, well ready for welcoming the bridegroom. But let me tell you, they got ready for themselves, not for welcoming the bridegroom. The wise virgins got ready for themselves as well as got ready to welcome the bridegroom, whereas the foolish ones got ready for themselves, not ready for welcoming the bridegroom. If they were ready to welcome the bridegroom, surely they must have brought an extra flask of oil, but they haven't. In our life too, sometimes this is what happens. We equip ourselves intellectually, we equip ourselves with academic knowledge, with human intelligence, but we forget our faith. And if we don't have that aspect of our life, it is simply we are making ready for ourselves not to receive Christ. And when we are not ready to receive Christ into our lives, we are not going to enter into the banquet hall. So dear friends, from today's liturgy of the word, let's take 2 things for our meditation. The first one, from the life of St. Augustine, let's understand. If we believe, we understand the great things of our faith. Secondly, let's get ready to welcome bridegroom, not get ready for our own self-glory. May God bless us all. Have a blessed day ahead.